Hi everybody, I'm Jen with J&T Creations and Allegory Gallery here in Ligonier, Pennsylvania. Welcome back. I know it's been a while since we've brought you a new tutorial, but holidays, am I right? So anyway, before we get started, please hit that subscribe button, hit your like button, and hit the little bell if you're new to our channel because you will be notified of everything we post from here on out if you hit that bell. So without further ado, let's get started. So today our project is going to be Valentine's orientated, a little love in the air. We're going to make these sweet little willy-nilly pendants. This one has been force patinaed with some liver of sulfur, and then I removed some of it to add that highlight to it. And then this one is pure copper, no patina. They are both approximately 1.5 inches by maybe 1 3/4 possibly. I don't have a ruler handy though, so we're just gonna guesstimate. For this project, you will need a 12-inch piece of 16 gauge wire. I'm using dead soft pure copper. Here is a 10-inch piece of 20 gauge. And then we have a, let's see, it's approximately 10 inches of 24 gauge copper wire. I also have a jump ring that'll be used to hold it. I have a varied mix of some red and some pearls. And you'll need some needle nose pliers of various sizes to get into the nooks and crannies. You'll definitely want something round, whether it be a Sharpie or a pencil. You can even use a ring mandrel, just something that's got a couple of different sizes of something round. Bent nose pliers are really good for getting in those tight spots. Wire smoothers, I've already used those on my wire. A couple of flat nose, a couple of round nose, and we're good to go. There are tools there. Anything that you're used to working with for wire wrapping, go ahead, take your pick. All right, let's get started. So you're going to take your 16 gauge piece of wire and roughly in the center, doesn't have to be perfect, go ahead and give that a bend, and then take your flat nose and squish that into a nice tight point. If you have difficulty holding on to your point, use a second set of pliers. Give that a nice tight squeeze. Okay, we're going to turn it to the side. I'm going to hold that point and start to open it. So we get a cute little V going on with a nice little point. Okay. This entire piece is meant to be willy-nilly, so feel free to make any changes to the design if you want. I'm going to go in on my mandrel here, and I'm going to make that first big loop on both sides. So we kind of got like a little, I don't know, circle-y shape going on there, if you will. Then I'm going to go into a much smaller one. This is approximately the size of a Sharpie. And I'm going to curl that tight top part of my heart. Make sure that that one side goes all the way over to the left. And then this one here, you need to bend that a little bit to get it out of the way. Slip your mandrel back in. And make sure that that mandrel, if you want your two sides to be as close as possible to the same size. Make sure that the top of that mandrel kind of lines up with the other one. And then you're going to bend that around, and you got kind of a pretzel going on here, a little heart-shaped pretzel. Isn't that adorable? Okay. You want to trim up your side here so that you don't have too big of a spiral. So I'm going to say that's good right there. And notice I'm using the flat part of my flush cutters so I don't have that burr. You want to trim them up evenly if you want, or you can keep that willy-nilly style and have them uneven. But you want something that's going to kind of look like this. And now we're going to take our round nose tool, and I'm going to start that spiral. So just kind of like a little spiral there. Notice I'm going to start flipping my piece so that I'm doing a mirror effect, and they're going in opposite directions. It's just kind of easier to flip that whole piece. So tighten up that a little bit. And now we're going to do a nice open spiral that's going to fit right inside there. And you can make them the same size if you want, or you can make them 2 different sizes. Whichever one you do, just make sure that you are moving slowly when you bend that wire. And I'm using my flat nose to go straight across that and hold the whole thing. My left hand is only holding the piece. My right hand is doing all that turning. If you're left-handed, obviously, switch hands. But if you go too fast at this point, you could wind up getting a square spiral. And you don't want that to go square. You want it nice and round. Okay, so go ahead and work that other side. And don't worry that you see that it's going wonky. That's an easy fix. You have to get your tool in there, right? Okay. So that is absolutely adorable. I like it. We are ready to move on to step 2. I did design this piece so that it would hang on the side, but if you wanted to do your jump ring in the center, then feel free to do that. It is your piece. So let us now warm up our 20 gauge piece of wire, and we are going to start it the same way. I seem to keep making it go from bad to worse. Let's use some tools. I mean, it's going to be spirally anyway, but I like to start with it pretty somewhat straight. All right, there we go. Warm that up. There we go. Perfect. So in the same manner, we're going to start in that center, about halfway. Do your bend, and then completely squeeze her shut. There we go. Okay. Once again, turning to the side. Open that up into your V. And we are going to place this V to the left of that first one. You can go lower if you want. You can go higher. It's entirely up to you. And just to hold it a little bit better for me, I'm going to put that in between my pliers there. And I'm going to take the right-hand side here, going way down in that point, and I am going to start doing a willy-nilly spiral. You can go tight. You can open it up and go looser. Just have fun with it. And you're bringing that in between those two right there, so I don't have to go around. Adjust it as you go if you need to. Okay, and eventually you will have to come to a point where you go in between. All right, you're going around that. Going around the outside instead of going in between because you got a little shorter. All right, so the last couple of loops, it's going to be really important that you leave one loop larger so you can get that jump ring in there. That's what I'm doing right here. And you may have to work it up a little if you lost it. And if you went a little too tight or too many coils down at the bottom here, you might have to just work that up a little. That's an easy enough fix. Perfect. Okay, and I'm going to hold that right there so that it doesn't get away from me and tighten up when I do these last two coils. I'm just going to end it right here. Wrapping those last two around, needing something smaller. There we go. So I'm going to use that bent nose to get in there and just use up the last of this wire. You want to make sure that you're ending that in a way that is not going to rub up against your skin or grab your clothes. So go ahead and tuck that in really good. Rub your finger on it, see if it catches. If it does, you need to do better. That's all there is to it. All right. Slip your jump ring in there. Perfect. And go ahead and close up your jump ring. Make sure there's no gaps. Perfect. Make sure it's going to hang where you want it. I think I want to move that up just a little bit more again. I like where that's hanging. I think I'm good. All right, let's wrap the left side now. So this one, once again, I'm going to hold it with that tool just to give my hands a little break here. And I'm going to go from the front around to the back once. When I come up to the front, I'm going to add that nice big focal center bead. There we go. And okay, holding that bead and your whole piece kind of as tight as you can. Wrap that wire as tight as you can around your bead. And when you come around the second time, make sure that you're going on top of that first pass you made. That will hide the little elbow. Elbow? I don't know what you'd call that. The little... it's a spot I don't want to see. Let's just call it that. Being careful not to crack your bead. You're going to make that last pass go around these two loops here. Then you're going to go back around through the front and start wrapping that left side real willy-nilly like you did the right side. And I don't usually like to go up quite as far as you do on the right. I like to end it early. If I need to, I will cut it. Change tools when you're getting tight. It looks like I'm going to be able to get away without cutting this. And just continue turning that around. And just make sure that that's not going to scratch. Perfect. Good. Okay. Straighten everything out at this point if you need to. Sometimes things get out of shape. Adorable. I like it. All right, now we're going to do the finishing touches. You can absolutely just leave it plain like this if you want, or you can add the embellishing beads. We're going to add the embellishing beads because I just think it's adorable that way. And we're going to do it in between these little, the little gap here on the left. So go ahead and take your 24 gauge piece, warm that up a little bit, and leaving about a 2-inch tail. You're going to go across the front where those two spirals meet and go down in between. This is where your bent nose comes in real handy. And bring that back up to the front. Don't pull it too hard because you don't want those two spirals to overlap one another. You just want to bring that to a small close, and you really just need to go around a couple of times. So now I'm going to finish that off with 2 coils around the right hand spiral, just to keep that wire from sliding. And then we're going to snip it. Give that a little pinch. Adjust everything. And we are ready to embellish. Now I like to leave a little wire in between each one. So I coil twice around the inside, twice around the outside in between each bead. And I'm going to zigzag back and forth. And I always want to make sure that I start from that outside one and go over. Otherwise, you're going to end up with something truly willy-nilly, which is what we have going on here, which isn't bad. It's all on your taste, but if you're looking for a little bit more refined, then we're going to do what I just described. So find a bead. Make sure all of your beads are going to fit on a 24 gauge wire before you start the project, because once you start this spiral or this wrap, you really do not want to stop, because your wire is going to run really brittle if you do that. So also make small movements when you're going through so that it doesn't kink up, because if it kinks up, you create a weak point in that wire and you run the risk of snapping it, and you're going to be really unhappy. You'll have to splice another piece of wire in, and it won't look as good as you want if you are just careful in the first place. Okay, so 2 around that inner part of the spiral. Go to the outside wire. I'm going around twice. Now when you are tightening up your wire here, make sure you're not pulling so tight that you pull that nice gap that you have in your coil, because you're going to lose that space for your beads. Right, so that's twice around the outer one. And notice I'm heading over again. So then we're going to drop another bead. What else do we have that's fun? I kind of like to contrast sometimes. I like sparkle and non-sparkle mixed together. It's good. Is that enough of a contrast? No, I think that's too similar. Let's go with these guys. Yeah, I like that. Perfect. Okay. So now we're going to go around that inner spiral again, twice. Go around to the outside, twice around the outside. And I am working quickly because this wire is going to harden quickly, and every time I run a pass on this wire, I will warm it up with my fingers again just to keep it nice and loose. Let's see if we have enough clearance to add this little crystal. And we do. All right, so we got that crystal in there. Let's go ahead and drop our next bead. And I'm not ready for a pearl yet. Still something a little on the small side. Let's try this nice contrast. Oh yes, I like that. I like that a lot. So let's do those two inner. Why are you giving me a little hassle here? Can't I get in there? There we go. Okay, so those two inner coils. And move out to the outer coil. Wrap. Are we ready for a pearl? I don't know. Let's see how it looks. Yeah, I'm good with that. Okay. Two udders. And I am running out of wire, so I think we're going to do one last bead. Let's do one of these nice dark ones. Yep, I like that one. Very cute. I'm happy with that. Absolutely happy with that. All right, so we're going to end this now, wrapping just 2 or 3 times around that inner coil so our wire doesn't move on us. Then I'm going to go back behind that last bead and I'm going to finish with a couple of wraps in that gap. I don't like gaps, so I'm going to work my way up towards the other group of wires there. I'm just going to go until I run out of space or wire, whichever comes first. This piece is meant to be freestyle. It's kind of one of those as-you-go pieces, not one that you need to plan out before you get going. I think the journey is part of the fun. It's not all about the destination. Go ahead and snip that little bit that's left. Tighten down your wire so it doesn't catch on anything. Tighten up anything that got out of place. Another fun little difference you can make in your designs, if you have an anvil and a hammer, a chasing hammer and then a round hammer, you can hammer out a little bit of texture in these outer loops, but be careful. You're going to want to rotate it up, back and forth and stuff, because those will bend upwards and then downwards. They'll get a little wonky, so go slow when you're adding that texture. I did a little bit on this one. I used a round hammer when I got in there, but I flipped my piece and was working, on both sides so that it stayed in line. But it does not have to fit any one design. You can just have fun with that. And again, this one I force patinaed with that liver of sulfur rather than leave it a bright copper, because I really like an antique finish on my pieces. So there you have it. Happy Valentine's Day. Have fun with this, and I would love to see what you've created. Thanks for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you had fun. I know I did. If you like what we've done for you today, please hit that like button, share this video, subscribe, hit the little bell so that you're notified every time we post a new video, and please share with us what you've created on our Facebook group, Allegory Gallery Design Challenges. I love to see what everybody's created. So without any more words from me, I bid you adieu.
This records. I'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah, don't go far. Hi everybody, I'm Jen with J&T Creations and Allegory Gallery in Ligonier, Pennsylvania from Star Cottage Studios. Yeah.
Threw yourself off with that one. Where are your notes? I don't know where all your notes went.
It's all coming back to me now. Hi everybody, I'm Jen with J&T Creations and Allegory Gallery in Ligonier, Pennsylvania, coming to you live from Star Cottage, but no, we're not really live at this point. And please show what you've created on our Facebook group. Allegory Gallery Design Challenges. Want to redo that one?
Yeah. You almost had it.
Group.
The outro.
What do I want to say?
I don't know. Goodbye.
Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in today.